So, like a lot of you guys, I'm sure, I was playing a ton of Path of Exile 2 over the past couple months until I reached a point where I kind of lost interest. I kind of hit that wall in the end game where you have to play a meta build if you want to, farm a ton of currency and stuff. That's not to say that's necessarily a bad thing, but I kind of got the most enjoyment out of it as I feel like I could in its current state. So now I decided, okay, I got a little bit of a bug to play some PoE 1 to see how it stacks up against PoE 2. And well, as it turns out, there are a lot of things that I realize now that I was taking for granted. So I don't want to make this a whole video about like comparing between the two games, but I just want to say like there are some things that in PoE 1 I used to not really acknowledge like how good they are. Things like base movement speed, things like having the bench crafting, things like having movement skills to just jump around. The fact that you progress through the acts pretty quickly and like reach the end game pretty quickly, all things considered, even on a build that isn't really that good. Like I am freaking playing Vigilant Strike Champion and like got to level 80 and I've put in how many hours? 14 hours, level 80. That's, nothing amazing, but on Vigilant Strike is a skill that like has a 4-second cooldown normally, and like I had to build around that. But look, my point is just that you actually progress and like find items pretty quickly, and you kind of feel like there's always something to work towards. And I know that that's a thing in PoE 2 as well. It's just that I feel like I'm really enjoying the progression of PoE 1 as opposed to that of PoE 2. That being said, there are of course things in PoE 2 that I kind of wish were in PoE 1. WASD movement would be one of those. Going back to point to click was a little bit jarring, but I got used to it pretty quickly. Another thing, the graphics, of course, not that this is super ugly. I actually, like, when I came back to this, it was the first time playing PoE 1 on my new monitor, which is a Oni 560 by 1440p, whatever, monitor, and it actually looked amazing. I was like, wow, this looks so good, but for sure PoE 2 does look better. However, PoE 2 doesn't perform really well. Like, it runs kind of like crap. I don't know if like that's just my computer, but I think a lot of people have been complaining about that. I got a ton of comments about that on my last video, so yeah, I think that's probably a thing. PoE 1 runs super well in comparison, go figure. What else? Of course, the boss fights. That's one thing that, okay, I kind of wish, I don't know if this is a hot take, it might be, but I think I wish that the bosses in PoE 1 were also a like, you have to do it in one life. I don't mean like the maps and the endgame stuff. I'm specifically referring to like during the campaign. Like imagine having to actually do Kitava in just one go. It's not to say that I don't do that. I do, but it would just make it more stressful and like more of a challenge, because right now you can just die and like die over and over and kill Kitava and just nuke him down slowly, which is kind of just like a weird thing that PoE does. It's a quirk of PoE 1. I'm not saying that they should change it. It's just I wonder what it would feel like. Maybe it would, like, I think for people that are experienced, it won't make a huge difference, right? So all this really does is it changes the new player experience mostly, or like casual players, and I use that term lightly. But yeah, I'd be curious. I'd be interested to see how that would feel. That being said, I still, there's a lot of things like just the base movement speed. When I this is have dex, okay, I can just walking around at this speed is so much faster than walking around in Path of Exile 2. It's insane. I cannot believe it. When I was like leveling up and just walking with 10% movement speed, so I was like, god damn, I am zooming. Which is hilarious because, it just puts things into perspective. I never would have thought that, 10% movement speed, like in the past, 10% movement speed was like, oh god damn, that's slow. But now, feels great. Let's hop into the map. Let me like play around a little bit while I'm talking. The other thing is, dude, the movement skills. Okay, I know that PoE 2 does not want to have movement skills, or not a lot of them, but Temporalis is super expensive for a reason. One, it's super rare, but secondly, it's an item that lets you blink around and give you a movement skill that at like supersonic speed, right? That's the whole point of that unique item, and that's why it's one of the best items. Go away, Dropbox. I hate that notification. That's why it's one of the best items in the game. So yeah, but like movement skills, they just feel so good. I wish PoE 2 had more movement skills, and like, okay, look, I don't want this to be like I wish PoE 2 was PoE 1.5 or whatever, but it kind of is right now, but it's also not. That's not what I'm saying. It's just like, there are some things that felt really good coming back to PoE 1 here. Things that I did not expect. I knew movement speed would be one of them, but yeah. This is my Vigilant Strike champion, dude. Like, sometimes my skill actually goes on cooldown, but if you have endurance charges, you can actually like still use the skill and like it bypasses the cooldown. It's like Flicker Strike. I'm sure like not many people know that. Anyways, having movement skills is amazing. It just makes the game feel so good. And then like Onslaught and stuff, like just the speed of it is so much better. The destruction of packs is super satisfying. Not that it isn't in PoE 2, okay? Because it is. Even on my, what was I, a Witch Hunter, I had those like Witch Hunter explosions. Those felt great, they really did. But so does just any Herald in PoE 1. Another thing, like just like the passive skill tree, like I don't know what they did in PoE 2, but like in PoE 1, the passive skill tree feels like there are so many options and there are so many things to go for on your build that you want to go for, and that can like apply to any build at all. And I feel like in PoE 2, you're kind of shoehorned. I don't know, maybe I just haven't played enough. It's possible, but there's something wrong with the passive skill tree in PoE 2, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I don't think it's the fact that there aren't life nodes, although I am super accustomed to having life nodes and I'm happy to have them again here in PoE 1. But I don't know what it is. There's something weird about how the game, like the passive skill tree in PoE 2 works, and it's just like, it's not exciting. There are very few exciting nodes. I guess that's what I should say. There are very few exciting nodes for your builds. Maybe it depends on the build, you know, but I suspect that's what it is. I just like, I'm putting this together like on my own. I didn't follow a build guide because you know what? Nobody plays Vigilant Strike, so I gotta make it myself. And it's working. It's going great. Single target's a little bit crap, need to work on that, but I'm having fun, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. I gotta say, in my like, I played 14 hours of PoE 1 again, and I feel like in these 14 hours, I've had more fun playing this game than I had fun playing PoE 2 for the last like, I don't know, 60 hours I was playing of like endgame, just trying to push through the waystones and just trying to make my build better, and like ultimately deciding, okay, I guess I'm gonna go do the meta Howa build because that's how I will be able to actually kill stuff in a quick and satisfying way. I don't know. There's, oh. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just like kind of really enjoying PoE 1, and like, by the way, I'm playing in like the Pox League that he did, Pox Private League, and it's not super active, I don't think. I don't really know what the numbers are at right now, actually, and I started quite late. I started on like day 4 of the league, but doesn't matter, I'm having fun, some stuff is selling, and things are actually valuable. Like, I'm identifying items and I'm able to sell some of them, which is, whoa, that's crazy. But that's, even in like PoE 1, that's not usually the case. But yeah, the new events that, or new event that GGG is going to be like properly announcing eventually. I don't know when we're gonna get that, but the whole wacky Ascendancies event, I'm pretty excited for. So far, they've only shown Harbinger, Gambler, Trial Master guy. So far, I'm kind of keen on Harbinger, yeah. The cooldown reduction kind of lends itself to making a cast on crit or cast while channeling or something like that kind of build, and those are my favorite builds in the game, so probably gonna play around with that unless something else looks really cool. I don't want to drag this out. I just want to say, like, playing PoE 1 is surprisingly super fun, and there are some things I miss about PoE 2. Actually, one thing I didn't say, one thing I miss about PoE 2, which is kind of funny because it's crafting related, believe it or not. I miss Exalt slamming things. There have been items that I've had and I'm just like, oh dude, I wish I could just slam an Exalt on there to finish it. And I could, right? I could come here, I could go and buy an Exalted Orb wherever that is, and like, I have Chaos. It costs 24 Exalts though, 24 Chaos for 1x. I wish, you know, Exalts were a bit more abundant. But that's about it. That's all I've got. I'm enjoying PoE 1. It's surprising. I'm looking forward to the next little mini league thing. When I keep playing this Vigilant Strike character, I'll probably make a video talking about him in more depth than this, or at least my progression. We'll see. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying whatever the hell you're playing, because it doesn't have to be Path of Exile. You know a game that I actually recommend that I just finished like a week ago? Final Fantasy Origins Strangers of Paradise. That is a crazy awesome action game. If you like action games, kind of like Elden Ring, but like more faster paced, dude, check that game out. It's actually really fun. Highly recommend it. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.